Yo, what's up, everybody? Kicking it stateside. You know what time it is. Got a packed show, like always. We got some U.S. men's national team qualification finally back. It's been forever. You know what to do. Like, subscribe. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Let's go! This ain't the Rock Tyson Forces gegen Heat Sting!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Kicking it stateside. Back another lovely Wednesday. As per usual, got a packed show. Never a dull moment, like we always say, but a little special, a little different this time around. Now that we got our beloved U.S. men's national team, I know it felt like forever since we've actually talked about them, since they've played a competitive game. I think it was November was the last one against Jamaica. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into a little Prem. Obviously, the African Cup of Nations is going on as well. Any other transfer news we got rocking and rolling? There's always, obviously, in the January window. We're starting to get down to that, the last couple of, I guess, the last week here for the transfer window. So it's going to be heating up. Again, a lot to talk about. We're going to get in it right away. Again, Adam Modick, Brian Wheeler with you. What's up, my man? How are you?
Oh, sir, I am wonderful. We are, like you said, our team is back. We love doing our Prem shows. We love, following that league. That is our league, as we say. But when the U.S. men's national team returns and we have the opportunity to discuss them and just the I don't know the right word, if it's excitement, if it's anticipation, if it's angst. Like, I think I'm a little anxious, to be honest with you, because this is so imperative that we come out and we handle the business that we need to handle, like we've talked about so many times going into this game. I actually spent today watching a 5-minute highlight video on the U.S. men's national team website. And I think all the players on that team that are going to play this game tomorrow should watch that same video, or they call it a highlight video, but let's call it just a video, because there was, it was discouraging to go back and watch that game again, because there were so many opportunities. And there was just nobody with a killer instinct at that time. Josh Sargent just left so many opportunities on the table. Miles Robinson had that opportunity early in the game with the header that he missed. That was the same play set up that basically won them the Gold Cup. And just, at the same time, though, they were lucky to not lose that game. So, I don't know. I'm ready for a big revenge game. This team has to come. They got to play in this cold weather, and we'll talk about that and how that's going to play a factor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anxious is a good word to describe, I think how everybody's feeling. One, because it's been, since November, since we've seen them in a competitive game. Two, we're starting to get down to, that nitty gritty of the last leg of this World Cup qualifying. And I think, again, it's just from history that, we're starting to get a little nervous. We're starting to get a little antsy. Can we just qualify already, please? And let's just move on and let's start focusing, on our summer friendlies and getting ready for that World Cup in Qatar in November. So, I think anxious is probably the best word, I think, to describe how everybody's going to be feeling today and tomorrow, leading up to game time. So, for me, to go off, we're obviously, we'll talk a little bit about the roster that is along for the ride for this January window. again, kind of leading up to it is, is it no longer just about like the guys who are coming with you, with the roster, or, it's just more about what's over that heart and what's on the crest, that USA. It doesn't matter who's out there playing, they're ours. And they're going to be, whether you like the selections or not. I know we've been critical ourselves saying, Uncle Greggy's
Oh
not,
yeah,
he's not picking the right guys. But I mean, from, COVID to injuries to, some of these clubs, they're allowed to say, no, you can't go represent your country for whatever reason. Like, they can do that. That's part of it. So there's a lot to factor in. Again, we're going to go over the roster, but I mean, just from the poll question, I mean, what do you guys think out there? We'd love to hear what you have to say. Is it no longer about the roster? Like, we know, like, there's going to be some selections that a lot of people just don't like. And we're
yeah.
going to go into some of those, I'm sure, that we
That's
just
what sparked me
like.
to come up with that, because as usual, the groups, as soon as the roster comes out, it's you got the groups of, oh, this guy and this. If you haven't figured it out by now, then it's your own fault. I mean, the guy's winning games, so I'm off his back. We've talked about that. Is the Berhalter out thing always probably going to be there as long as he's the coach, unless
It's in your back pocket. Wait,
it's always going to be in the back pocket. But at the same time, he's doing what we want as a collective whole, and we've agreed about that as a fan base. Is the most important thing is winning soccer. And I actually saw it on the thing today when I was watching as well. They have like a thing up in the locker room, and it basically states, change the way the world sees U.S. soccer. And I think they're starting to do that. And this game right here becomes each one now becomes the biggest game till they're officially qualified. And I saw that there's really no road in this 3-game window for them to technically qualify. But 7 points is not too much to ask at all. Having two home games against two teams, that one you already beat up in response to having that lackluster performance and drawing the other one. So you got to handle your business at both of these, and then going to Canada is not going to be easy. But there's no reason we can't go and come away with at least a point. So I think 7's a realistic number. I think a lot of people are calling for 7, and anything less will be disappointing because there are teams on our heels.
Right. Yeah, with it, I think so far the way that the table is like shaking out, that it's pretty top heavy. Like, the top 4 teams are only within about 2 to 3 points max of each other. So again, a lot could change with the last, whatever games we have remaining in, I think, what, 6 or 7, I think.
Yeah, because you're playing right now. So you're playing the top team in Canada, and we're playing the bottom. We're playing the bottom 2 in El Salvador and Honduras.
Right.
And then we still would have to play. We'd have 4 games left. 4 games left. So you have to play Jamaica again, Costa Rica again, Panama, and Mexico.
Yep.
So there'd be 4 games remaining after this window, I think.
Yeah, 7. I mean, I know we always shoot for the stars when we talk about how many points like the team should get per window, and we always say, we want 7 to 9, right? I mean, the draw mixed in with 3 games, I mean, that's respectable. Obviously, 9's the perfect one. 7's like what you should be getting, especially with this window where, you have El Salvador, hostile territory. It's like the first game. I'm sure there's some nerves going on. You go in there and, you don't get the result you want. But then you go play Honduras on the road, and that becomes the Ricardo Pepi, kind of coming out party where he just takes over in the second half. And obviously that Canada game, we drew them in Nashville, I believe, in September. So again, it's crucial because, again, like Brian said, it's jumbled at the top, and any slip up with a loss, especially at home, is vital. And that has been proven from history, in CONCACAF, you have to win your home games. The home games are crucial because if you're not winning your home games, you're not going to make it.
We're only a point clear of Mexico and Panama. They both have 14 points. That's not a comfortable situation. And then Costa Rica is at 9. Jamaica, with that awful start, is now up to 7. Imagine if Jamaica got off to the decent start everybody thought they were going to get off to. We're pretty lucky in that sense that they're not
getting healthy at the right time, and they're starting to gel with all the new additions they've had. With Mikel Antonio, I know that's a buzzword for everybody.
Yeah, but that's striker. So we have to see them again too. So the ones we have to still see after this window, outside of Canada, obviously being the group leader, they're the harder games. Those 4: Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. We got to take advantage of the El Salvador and Honduras.
Right, your tough games and tough teams are coming up. Besides Panama, are on the road. You got Canada on the road coming up on Sunday. Obviously, we still have to go to the Azteca in Mexico the next time around. And I believe we have to go to Costa Rica as well at some point. So, again, that's why you have to take advantage of this window. And it starts tomorrow in Columbus, Ohio, 7 o'clock against El Salvador. Then you focus your attention. Of course, they got to schedule the game right in between, the NFL games, to really grab everybody in the U.S. to be like, hey, how about one of the most important games of qualifying? Let's just throw that in there with Championship Sunday in the most popular sport. That'll probably help get this sport to where it is. Who's in charge of that? Jeez.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But, yeah, you get Sunday at 3 o'clock. That game is in Hamilton, Ontario.
Yeah, and the other unfortunate part about that, too, is that game is Paramount Plus, Telemundo, or Universo. So if you don't have Paramount Plus, you have to watch your national team in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even playing a Spanish team. How crazy. Has no U.S. station picked that up. I mean, I guess Paramount Plus
doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's crazy. But the El Salvador game is on ESPN, too, so.
Everybody should be watching that.
And then you get FS1 for the Honduras game. That's the only thing announced at this point. Actually, they have the announcement on the Panama game, just not the Costa Rica or the Mexico game. And yes, Costa Rica we are at Costa Rica for the final game of qualifying. That's the game you and I said better be a game where it's a bunch of, guys that need caps and a bunch of, tinkering because it means absolutely nothing because we've already qualified in the top 3 at that point.
Right. It's more based on if seeding really matters at that point. If you're already qualified, I guess.
Let's please hope so. Let's hope that is not a win to get in kind of game.
We always say this. I think every time we talk about this team that we expect that to be the case, but it never is that easy with this.
I know.
U.S. men's soccer.
We keep thinking we're over that hump, and then they keep giving us away. They have a 1-0 loss to Panama. Things like that. And this has been an odd, every qualifying, and I get it, and everybody, all the guys will kind of, the older people that have been around will say, oh, well, that's how it always is, but it doesn't have to be. There's countries that don't deal with that. There's countries that, for the most part, outside of Italy and the Netherlands not making the World Cup as well last go around. Those countries are just staples. They are qualifying for all the big tournaments every year, or every go around.
And then Italy, bounces back and wins a Euro. So
right. So yeah.
Right in the ship, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so we need to continue to do the same thing, and it's going to start tomorrow. Again, I encourage everybody, the casual fans, please check that game out. 7 o'clock. It's I just every time we beg, we're like, hey, check this game out. This should be Then they let us down, dude. Why does that always happen? This should This should be a game where like the casual fan gets introduced to Ricardo Pepi, gets introduced to maybe even Christian Pulisic. Maybe they don't even know who Christian Pulisic is. Like, this should be a game where we come out, we score like 3 goals, 4 goals, and handle our business in front of a home crowd in some really cold weather, a fun kind of game.
You're like, wow, this is a fun team. I want to tune in next time because we know no one probably besides a few of us are going to be watching the Canada game on Sunday or have it on your laptop while you got, American football on the big screen or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, that game is where first or second can swing either way. Obviously, with Canada being on top of the group, it's going to be the same. It's going to be cold. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But, dude, this is because Canada we've seen it. Like, Canada used to be a laughing stock in soccer, and now all of a sudden they're producing guys that are going overseas and up for, defender of the year and winning, Champions League games, with Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David now being looked at in the Premier League. Tejan Buchanan becoming what he is. It's just, we have to keep matching that and we have to keep getting better ourselves. And to lose that game would just be like, well, is that more a test to Canada being really, really good now? Or is that just us not keeping up with the rest of the world? That's the questions we have to right the ship. Because normally it'd be like, all right, Canada on the road, we can win that easily.
Yeah, it should have never. That for the longest time was at least one we never really questioned either. But now they've continued to grow, and it's impressive to see.
Yeah, for sure. And again, our poll question brought to you by the good doc, Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. You know what? It's that time of year, man. It's cold out. You're not stretching properly. You're running a little, run a little ball in the gym, hurt something. You got the good doc to call, man. You could do the telehealth if you're not comfortable with going into the office. He's number 1 in South Jersey. He's been number 1 in our hearts since the start of this thing, since Brian and I started 2 years ago. He's our doc. Make him yours at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, and specializedphysicaltherapy.com for any telehealth questions you may have for the good doc. Again, so today, we're going to be rolling into U.S. men's national team news, obviously, and kind of looking forward to the game tomorrow. Obviously, if anybody is interested in the African Cup of Nations, who have kind of, it's one of those tournaments that I haven't really watched over, in the past, but I kind of sparked my interest a little bit watching some of these games.
I told you.
And you were right. You've been the African football king out there.
Yeah.
Leading the charge to have people be like, dude, check them out. It's not a bad tournament. It's pretty good, They're one of those over the years that a lot of African players have made a name for themselves in the world of soccer. And it's, the big ones, Mo Salahs, Mane's of the world out there. It's just a fun tournament.
Yeah, Mo Salah
means a lot to these players. So
a huge goal for him today in PKs. He had the final PK to knock out Ivory Coast.
Yes, Egypt moving on to the quarters.
There's kind of some silver lining in there, I guess, from the rest of us Premier League fans, and the fact that in this tournament, not that you ever won anybody, but you saw. I don't know if you saw what happened with Sadio Mane in the Senegal game, but he gets a concussion, and he clearly has a concussion. But the Senegal team, they somehow allow this guy to stay in the game. He goes down and scores, then they pull him out of the game. And now he's in a concussion protocol. And I don't think Liverpool's one bit too happy with how that was handled. It's becoming kind of big news. And Now Salah, with Egypt winning, is going to have at least another game, so that's a little bit longer. He's going to be away from Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there is some silver linings if Lord Walker and Eric are listening to this.
I mean,
as well. So
they wanted to go play for their nation, and Liverpool said, "All right, go for it.
And
We can't hold you back."
And Nico Pepe's been in great form. And he will be coming back to Arsenal, so they could definitely use somebody up top to put the ball in the net. Maybe try him at striker.
True that. Greggy, sir, what's up, my friend? He says, disagree. The polar rosters are always going to be an issue until we get over the hump on the reg, which is true.
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
he's actually
you make
not
us shut
wrong.
up and, not make us worry every time we're in a meaningful game like we are.
We were getting there.
3 games, yeah. And then it started with that Canada game that we lost 2 years ago, I think, almost.
Yeah, it's been
at least 1.5, 2 years from that debacle. So now it's like, all right, we're sitting in second. We're feeling pretty good, but we still have the history of just
that loss to Panama
everything.
back in October. I mean, again, that was the same
showing against Jamaica as well,
Right, because what we opened up with the El Salvador draw, 0-0. Again, inexcusable. Everybody got by it, but the ones that want to back them say you got a point on the road in a tough environment. Okay, great. You got a point. At least you didn't lose. Then you go to Canada, you draw 1-1. So now you got 2 points in your first 2 games. After this is supposed to be the year, after everything that we went through. So, of course, the sky was falling. Like, it should be falling at that point. And then the Honduras game came. And it was like...
Didn't look good there.
This was the team we were supposed to be. We come out, we win 4-1. And that's the team that we thought we'd be seeing the whole time. And then we beat Jamaica 2-0. And we're like, okay, here we go. We are like, we got Pepe, we got a striker, we got a scheme, we got it going. And then we come out and lay a giant egg and lose 1-0 to Panama. And then we come out against Costa Rica and get scored on early in the game. And it's like, oh my God. And then somehow come back, get the 2 goals. But it's like, it doesn't end. This roller coaster doesn't end, and it needs to end. It needs to level back off to where we don't have those big drop-off disappointment games.
Exactly. And
you're not going to win every game. I get it.
No.
But you shouldn't be losing 1-0 to Panama when you're in good form. I think we were home. Were we home in that one?
We were on the road to Panama.
We were on the road, but either way, shouldn't lose that game when the form they were in. They shouldn't have drawn that game. They definitely just say they draw that game and they get the win against El Salvador. That's 4 more points that they should have at this point, and they should be sitting pretty in first place. But they're not, because that's the team that they are. Right. That's just,
should be pretty much, and we should be 3 points at least ahead of
Canada.
Canada.
that would have put us at 19. That would put us 3 points ahead of Canada.
In a perfect world, again.
But it's not. Yeah, this is what we do, and
it's what happens every time. And again, like we said, we want 7 points from this window coming up, but you just know that something weird's going to happen.
It better not.
They're going to draw a team that they shouldn't.
And you know what? I don't care how they do it, too. Like, if they come out and they lay an egg tomorrow and they draw El Salvador again somehow, and then they go out and they beat Canada and beat Honduras, it's fine, and they get the 7 points. I don't care how they get the 7 points. It'll still be a little bit of a red flag. We'll have a lot more to discuss if it goes that way than if it goes the way that most people think it would. And, that draw comes on the road against Canada in super, super cold weather. I think the game tomorrow is going to be, you and I were saying, I think the mid-teens by game time, probably low 20s, mid-teens by game time. I think the Sunday game is going to be even worse up in Ontario. So
yeah, all the games I feel like are going to be probably pretty cold. You play, you're playing in Canada in February, January here. It's going to be cold. You're here in Minneapolis or in St. Paul in January, February. It's going to be cold.
The nice thing is a
Yes.
lot of our roster and a lot of these guys have the ones that grew up in like a lot of the northeast parts of the U.S. and stuff. They've played in cold weather in their lives, and then most of these guys have had a stint in Germany at least at one point. So you know what it's like playing in the cold if you played in the Bundesliga,
Right.
and England. So I think it gives us a clear advantage, or it should give us a clear advantage over El Salvador and Honduras. Not so much Canada, because obviously those guys are more. There's more guys playing internationally. There's more, and they are a cold weather team as well. So
Yeah, good old Tim Hortons Field up in
yeah,
Ontario, Canada. It's nicknamed the Donut Box for anybody that cares.
good old Tim Hortons.
Yeah. So that's it's interesting.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those where we need to show that we're not going to be like Canada's, Canada is progressing. We need to keep up with that trajectory if that's what's going to happen. We can't
Yeah.
be falling below that trajectory line of Canada,
No, we still need to be big brother. It's not okay to be the little brother.
Not if we want to be taken, in the
Well,
top 10 in the world, and then you're losing
and
to
people
Canada.
people argue with me all the time on social media over the fact that they're like, well, as long as you get in the top three, but no, because that also plays a part when they seed your brackets for the group stages
Right.
in the World Cup. The higher you finish in yours gives you an opportunity to play a lesser competition in your group stage. It's just that's the way it's laid out. So these things do matter. Finishing top of your table when you have the ability to finish top of your table is important. If we were a different team and it was, like Costa Rica, they're happy to get third. Panama would be happy to get third. Jamaica would be happy to get third. We should not be happy to get third. First or second should be the target every time we walk into this. And the only other team that we should be worrying about for taking that position really still is Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, well, the people that we don't want to be in fourth, where you're having to play like a New Zealand in a two-legger, where you're traveling all the way across the world and playing a New Zealand team.
Yeah. Actually, if you look at some of the way some of the European teams are going right now, it might be somebody even tougher than New Zealand. There's some squads that are on the bubble as well over in the European qualifications. That those are the guys you're going to have to play too, possibly.
The Oceanic region.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It's always New Zealand. I don't know why.
Yeah, loves New Zealand.
I thought Australia is usually
Japan. Sometimes you get to Japan in there. Australia.
Yeah, usually I guess those countries are qualifying and don't need to play in that playing round. So I guess New Zealand is gets the consolation of trying to get in every year, but having to play a CONCACAF team. And I think the last time or 2 times ago, Mexico beat the hell out of them like 5-0 in Ecuador. And it's like, when Chris Wood's your best player, it's tough.
It is.
But yeah, it's again, as the show goes on, I'm sure we'll look down and see what we got, who we would like to see in the lineup tomorrow for the match against El Salvador.
Yeah.
Who we will see probably, because we just know the way Uncle Greggy works. That's how he's going to shape his roster. That's how he's going to put in the starting 11. But who do we want versus who does he play actually is going to be probably completely different.
Absolutely.
Is no problem, but
it's already started with the announcement that Zach Steffen will not be joining the team for tomorrow's game.
Not coming. Sorry.
He's not coming. He could still come in this window, but it doesn't sound so promising by everything that I read. They were kind of just like, if he's fit, we'll send him, but probably not. gonna send them.
Yeah, I
They
just
had 4 goalies on the roster anyway, so it's.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, if you're City, you're like, well, if he's hurt, and then, I mean,
I'm just
why even
disappointed.
bring him over?
I would like him to get reps with these defenders because the defenders that are on this roster are basically the defenders that I would like, right? Pending that something happens injury wise or
Yeah.
they don't show up. But those were the guys that I wanted when we set our whole teams up back a while ago, with McKenzie being in there and Richards getting the call up. Zimmerman I've been super happy with. We've been critical of him in the past, but he's been good. And when you're playing teams like El Salvador where you need to be a little tough, sometimes a guy like Zimmerman's nice to have in your defense. Miles, obviously, he's a staple now for this foreseeable future, I would say. And the backs, I'm interested to see what the right back situation is going to be. I kind of don't want to see Dest. I'd rather see like a Yedlin or a Cannon in this game, somebody that is tougher, that's more defensive, that's a little, not going to get pushed around as much by these El Salvadorian players. But then I don't know what you do with left back. I guess Anthony.
I guess Anthony Robinson at left back with Miles and to go Walker.
I would say Walker, and like it's weird for me to say that over Chris Richards, over McKenzie, because obviously I'm a big fan of both of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Richards is in good form for Hoffenheim, so that might give him a leg up. I know McKenzie's worked his way back into good graces at Genk, his club team in Belgium, but if he wants to start a Walker Zimmerman that hasn't played a competitive match since that Union game probably back in November, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, this should be the right team to do this against, and that's why I posed the question again with the roster,
because he'll tinker the shit out of this roster.
Yeah, and we know that, so it's like just wait till we keep working our way up. Like it's bad enough when we look at the defense and we look at what should probably be the starting defense, but will it be the starting defense? Who knows?
Start Brooks Lennon or something tomorrow.
Yeah, like you don't know with him. He'll make some kind of interesting move. It'll probably come up top. Midfield wise, I mean, again, what I would want to see, what you would expect to see if you're playing your A team, you're bringing your A team to win. You're going Tyler Adams, you're going Weston McKennie, and you're going Yunus Musa. No, it's not even a question.
Yeah.
But we got Gregg Berhalter on our hands, so will we see Leggett in the starting lineup?
At some point, we're going to see him starting, sub.
And this is probably that game. Again, this is probably, who else? You got Roldan in there. He's the bench guy. He's going to be the first sub off the bench. 65th minute. 65th minute, you'll see Christian Roldan come in the game. Kellen's on the squad, so Kellen, there's always the opportunity. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I love Kellen Acosta now. I'm Kellen Acosta guy. But I don't, if I'm trying to grab my 3 points right now, and I'm trying to show my home fan base my best players and gain more interest in my club, then I'm playing those 3. I'm playing my 3 guys that are making the biggest noise on the biggest stages over in Europe in Adams, McKennie, and Musa. I mean, Musa just finally got his first goal for Valencia. It's about time he gets one for the U.S. This is a perfect opportunity for him to get his first goal for the U.S. You got to get him in that lineup.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously the team sheet has to, probably the first guy you write down is McKennie and Adams, right? Those first 2 are probably the first on the team sheet. Every time that we play a competitive match, Those two have to be the first on the list.
No matter position, yes.
Those two are the heart and soul,
and Pulisic, really, and Pulisic.
Yes,
it should be. That should
is
absolutely include Christian
cemented
Pulisic
in that lineup. Those three automatic. Again, other than that, he does like Miles Robinson at center back, and I thought Miles played okay. Jamaica, he played all right. Anthony Robinson's playing great for Fulham.
Yeah.
So. Again, it depends. You want to go off of, club form, because Yunus Musa's been a little, in and out. Again, he scored his first goal finally. It really depends. You throw Aronson, he's probably been the liveliest of, the attacking portion of our, lineup. Every time he goes out there, he makes something happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would absolutely have Aronson. I would have Aronson, Pepe, and Pulisic up top. But that's not what it's going to be. That's what it should be.
No,
Arriola probably gets a start. I mean, how can you say he's not gonna? Or is it is it going to be Pulisic and Aronson and then Zardes?
You would think, though. I mean, you want to say it's going to be Aronson. He's liked Aronson a lot, and he's, like I mentioned,
Aronson's been one of the most productive guys on this club through this qualifying.
Every time he's in there, he makes things happen, no question. Pepi, we know what he can do, and obviously Pulisic, we know what he can do too when healthy. But again, it's I don't know what surprises. You would assume so. That's the safer play because anybody else I'm not seeing doesn't fall under the Uncle Greggy's going to start. He doesn't start Timmy Weah usually.
No, he doesn't.
He's always been again, club form. He hasn't been doing great for Lille.
He's not going to start Ferreira.
No, definitely not.
Jordan Morris, does he give Jordan Morris?
That'd be insane if he gave Jordan Morris a start.
And we've said that before about Paul Arriola, and then 7 hours later you open up your ESPN app and he's sitting there in the starting lineup.
That'd be a shock, because isn't this his first go round since the injury he had?
Oh yeah, and that's what he does. And it's El Salvador, and it's at home, and it's a guy that's played in cold weather up in Seattle, and expect it. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Is you have to now just expect it. Because you're gonna give yourself a heart attack if you get upset when you see it because you know it's coming. So I'm waiting tomorrow to open up that app and see either Paul Arriola or Jordan Morris in the starting lineup with
that's another good one.
Combo of those other two guys.
Usually when Brian calls, for Paul Arriola to be in the lineup, he's usually guesses right, which is really scary that you just said that. Now he'll, probably Gregg Berhalter will throw him in there in the starting lineup, I'm sure.
Probably, because he wants that tougher, hard-nosed guy that's going to go in there. He's going to be scrappy with the El Salvadorian guys in the cold weather. I just see it. I just know how he operates now. We've seen enough of him to now know what he's going to do.
You're in the mind of Gregg Berhalter.
I'm in there, Greg.
You want somebody, you could see a guy that's a little more aggressive, perfect fit for a nice CONCACAF night,
Yeah, he'll miss 3 shots that, most of any other guy playing that position probably would score. As long as he's
aggressive.
But he'll make some really good plays coming back on the ball in not so important situations. But whatever, the guy plays hard.
Yeah, I mean, at least when legit gets in there, he produces. I know we've given him shit before too, but
yeah. Paul Arriola's 42 caps, 8 goals. So, if you want to make a comparably,
not terrible at all, I guess.
Him and Pulisic both have 42 caps. Pulisic has 17 goals. Paul Arriola has 8. So he's half a Pulisic.
He's hanging on by a thread for this pool of players.
Zardes has 66 caps, 14 goals, and he keeps making teams. Sorry to cut you off, but
no, because he's a guy like Gregg likes to bring in for that veteran leadership for, whatever reason.
That's what I'm saying. You could see Pulisic, Aronson, and Zardes tomorrow. Like, all these combinations are possible, and none of them are going to shock me.
I see a nice Zardes substitution role tomorrow.
I hope it's with like a 3-goal lead in the 70th minute.
And he's such a poacher that he'll probably get one too.
Oh, yeah, and then everybody will be like, see?
He'll hit a nice tap-in sitter, and they'll be like, he did it again. Uncle Gregg's a genius.
Yeah.
When he's been relying on just the talent around him to bail him out of terrible situations, like that first Honduras game where we were outplayed in the first half. And then, let's throw in Aronson, Anthony Robinson, and a Ricardo Pepi. No shit, that changed the whole game. They get 4 goals in the second half.
Yeah, 4-1 final in that game. So
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works.
Remember his reaction? He was like,
"Huh,"
like shitting himself. Like, oh,
maybe I should just do this the whole time.
He wasn't even happy when they scored. He was just like, "Bro."
Yeah, I don't get it sometimes. Like, you look at it, and I get you got to rotate, but there's certain games and certain situations where if you're bringing your best players, then make that first game of that window a team of, like, if this was your first World Cup group stage game, each window, like, you got to win that first game of each window to set the tone for that window, because you're playing 3 games in 7 days. And if you come out flat and you have another poor performance against El Salvador, that's going to change the whole mood through this whole window. Like, this is a tone setter, and he's got to.
I mean, he's going to tinker tomorrow, knowing that he's got Canada waiting in the wings on Sunday, where he's going to throw his best 11 on the field.
Right, and if that's going to be the case, and the best 11 that we just went over, in our best 11, that if you want to wait and you don't want to do that tomorrow, and you want to save that for the Canada game, I would be understanding of it. But you better have a good majority of that still in tomorrow's game. If you better have at least 8 of those 11 guys, and then only have 3 switching out for the next game. But I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm super excited, but going back to the beginning, like you said, like, anxious is definitely the word. Super, super anxious.
If he wants to have this a showcase game, then give Luca De La Torre a start. See what he can do. He's been in great form for his club.
Right? I like De La Torre, too.
You know what Christian Roldan can do. You know what some of these MLS guys are capable of. Like, we've seen it.
Yeah. You just don't want to botch up the chemistry too much either, though. You want some of these guys that like playing, that have been together. But
I don't know. I never know what this man is thinking at the helm, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, even when we think we know, at the end of the day, we don't know. He's gonna do something tomorrow, though. And
Brian will text us the lineups, and there'll be some shockers. There always is.
Oh yeah.
There'll be an Arriola on the field, probably starting. Now that Brian put that in the app, you know how I like to mush like teams, and they just like turn out to be bad whenever I say they're gonna be, they're gonna have a winning streak, or whatever the case is. You're like the same with Paul Arriola. Like, you just speak his name and he ends up in the lineup.
It's going to happen. Be prepared.
So I feel like that's going to happen. But we will see.
We shall see.
7:00 tomorrow, El Salvador in Columbus.
Yes.
Beautiful.
ESPN 2. Check it out. You want to? We started to talk about the African Cup of Nations.
Yes.
I guess just to briefly go over, they did reach, like you stated earlier, they reached the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
That happened today. It finished up. So Egypt did beat Ivory Coast, as we said. And then it looks like Equatorial Guinea did beat Mali on penalties. So they're the last ones to advance to the next round. And they will start back up again on Saturday. So this thing keeps rolling along with the quarterfinals. Gambia plays Cameroon. Some unfortunate instance in the Cameroon game the other day, 2 days ago. There was like 8 fans crushed to death right outside the stadium. Something going on with some construction or something out there. So that was kind of a sad thing with them winning a big game at home, but having to deal with that. It kind of oversaw
puts a damper on it. Right?
Yeah, it puts a damper on it, but they will advance, and they're on the road for this one against Gambia. And then Burkina Faso hosts Tunisia. They're both on Saturday. And then Sunday is Egypt-Morocco.
Ooh.
That's a game of some little star power with Hakimi in there and Mo Salah in there. Probably the best right back in the world right now in Hakimi.
People are finally taking notice to Hakimi's skills.
Well, his boy Kylian Mbappe actually posted today that he was the best right back in the world on Twitter. So he's getting love from one of the best goal scorers in the world. So that should be a really fun matchup on Sunday. That's at 11 a.m. So all you American footballers, you can still watch that game and not have it interfere with American football because it'll be over before that even starts.
Yes.
So, and then Senegal will play the team that just won today in Guinea, Equatorial Guinea.
Guinea.
I would say Senegal would be the favorite in that one, even without Sadio Mane. It appears he probably will not be available because of the concussion. So,
yes. Yeah, I mean, it's, I guess going back to that Cameroon, what happened, that tragic, that thing, that took place outside the stadium. I guess when you're not used to, like, having that many people, like, in a, I don't know, security, whatever, don't have the capacity, different, there's just so much that could happen for an event that you're just not used to hosting. And, it's.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we saw it in American football and the Redskins stadium and the Eagles fans falling almost onto Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, they're lucky nobody got hurt in that, but like stuff like that happens, and some of these places aren't kept up with, and some of them are a lot older than others, and some of them, like you said, they just don't have the necessary infrastructure, and you get these big events and things like this unfortunately happen, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy,
especially when there's like
goes on like behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I mean, we kind of got a little taste of that obviously at University of Penn, but just the planning and just making sure everything's secured, and just there's just so much behind the scenes that you literally have to pay attention to every match day or game day, whatever the case may be. Like, or you could seriously, something like that could, God forbid, happen. And, it's tragic. It's terrible.
Yeah. It sucks that it puts a little damper on things, but it's like you said, it has been a pretty good tournament so far. There's some big names still left in it. So it's definitely a good watch. And it'll be wraps up into February once we get through these quarters. So it just keeps going. That's the nice thing. Like you go February, I guess February 2nd and 3rd, you would have the semifinals, and then I would guess on usually the 5th or the 6th they would have the final.
Because they kind of overlapped it now with like the whole world going on international break, so. All those guys coming back from the African Cup of Nations, they won't be missed because club soccer won't be returning till, I guess, the 10th-ish.
Yeah.
10th. 8th, something like that.
There's some games back again on, I thought,
If they're making up games. I know Burnley plays.
Yeah, there are games like starting back on the 3rd, but there are a lot of makeup games. I mean,
Right.
Burnley's 4 games in the whole. So yes, you're correct, and there is a break. It's a break.
After they already break in Germany, for a month that they already went through.
Yeah. But there's going to be some good World Cup qualifiers coming up too. I didn't really mention that in, when we were talking about the show today, but
yeah, I just looked it up. So the semifinals for the World Cup playoff games are taking place it's a home and home, I believe. So, okay, I see what it is. So it's basically in 3 different pots. So in pot A is one semifinal on March 24th is Scotland versus Ukraine. Then the other one in pot A is Wales, Austria. The 2 winners of that will play each other, and then the winner from that will move on to the World Cup.
Okay.
Pot B is Russia versus Poland and Sweden versus the Czech Republic. And then finally in pot C is Italy versus North Macedonia and Portugal versus Turkey. That's why the whole thing when this was drawn was that either Italy or Portugal will not be in this World Cup coming up.
Yeah, which is crazy,
Right.
Italy, the champions of Europe, to then go from that to miss the World Cup, or Cristiano Ronaldo, who could possibly be at the age where this could have been his last World Cup.
Right. It's tough, and
it is.
I guess I mentioned this a little bit. I think a couple weeks ago, with Federico Chiesa, the Italian hero from the last Euros, suffered a ACL injury. So who knows? He's definitely not going to be ready for this qualifier. So that's a big loss for them. So, I mean, you got to give the nod to Portugal getting out of that.
Yeah.
You'd assume they get by Turkey. No offense to Dan, wherever he's always lurking.
Yeah, he told me he had a dentist appointment today and would not be joining us. So, yes, I know you were thoroughly disappointed, especially with us heading into
I'm surprised he didn't,
a weekend Canada matchup.
Change his appointment around because he wanted to hear us talk about Canada and him bringing up his Canadian friends.
Well, the nice thing is he can, next Wednesday when he joins us, he can hear us talk about how we beat Canada and how we're going to be going for 9 points in this win.
It's true. Or you can rewatch the show on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes, you can rewatch it lots of places. Absolutely. Like, subscribe, follow. Mm-hmm. Hit that alert button. So every time we come on, it alerts you.
Not enough people do that. Not enough people have the alerts. And I know it's, not everybody's fault. It's more our fault for mostly mine changing, my work schedule in real life always around again.
Yeah, but if you hit the alert button, then you don't have to worry.
You're going to know.
Because no matter, if it's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday or 8 a.m. on a Saturday, you're going to know.
Just bouncing all over the place.
Yes. That's why you hit that button.
But yeah, that is the World Cup for.
So that's what's left there, and
right.
You have So there's just there's Cotton Bowl qualifying. I know Uruguay plays tomorrow. I only know that because I got that NFT game thing I was talking about.
Right.
And I got what's his name? Oh man, can't even think of his name right now. But Luis Suarez. He's like my only guy playing this week because I don't have any other guys playing internationally this week. So I'm not going to get anything out of it this week. You get it even if you set a roster though. As long as you have 5 cards and you set a roster, if no guys have a game that week, you get a new card each week.
Nice.
But like the common cards have no value. You got to continue to play till you eventually get a card that you can actually sell for either crypto or cash. It's pretty interesting. It hasn't
That
cost
sounds
me anything, so it's like, yeah, like it's pretty fun so far. It goes in like 3-day segments, and it's not even like for the whole week. So you look and you see who's playing, and you set your best 5 per position: 1 goalie, 1 defender, 1 midfielder, or forward, and then you could play 2 goalies, you could play 2 defenders, whatever your 5th best card is that you want to play. And the more you play them, they earn like percentage points and stuff like that. So. I got your boy Thorgan the other day, so
Torgan.
I'm going to be playing him. He was in pretty good form of lately.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. It's interesting. Something to do.
Something to do. I'll check it.
Dude, you look at some of the cards in there, and like your boy Howland right now, he has like, because they do the they do 1 out of 10 or they do 1 out of 100. He has cards selling in there for like 4,000 or 5,000 euros. It's crazy.
I bet.
Like there's bids on them. Like
that man's ridiculous though. So
yeah, it's pretty neat because they don't need it's just starting to, and they don't have like all the licenses of all the teams yet. So as they're getting them, they're dropping these cards in. So like they just did this big Bundesliga drop, and they have Chelsea, they have Liverpool, they don't have Arsenal yet. So I've been like waiting. It's pretty neat.
Nice.
Yeah. Just more soccer. Just as many soccer related.
I was gonna say, you
things
could
as I
cover it. You could cover the sport in any way. Look at that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the person who told me about it is somebody he's a good friend of mine and knows absolutely nothing about soccer, but he was super into like crypto and all that he just stumbled upon it, and now he started hitting me up about it, and then that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get one of these.
Hell yeah.
See what else we got going on.
I mean, any transfers, obviously, if you guys out there haven't been paying attention the last couple days, the big one that just dropped, Anthony Martial moving from Manchester United, going on loan to Sevilla in Spain, I guess would be the big one this past week. A couple other little ones, I think. I mean, Sebastian Soto, young U.S. prospect international, going from Norwich to Livingston in Scotland on loan.
I'm happy with that because he has not been getting the playing time.
Nah, he's not playing.
Needs to. And Norwich is so terrible. Like, he should have been playing. So I'm glad that he's not going to be there, and he's going to get ample opportunity, I'm sure, at Livingston, I would hope. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why they made the move. It's like, you're going to get some time.
Of course, Arsenal sent out another, young goal scorer in Tyrese John Jules, too, to Sheffield Wednesday on loan. So it's like, we have it's good. Yeah, it's great moves, but we have no strikers. I'd rather, we need somebody that's going to put the ball in the net. Lacazette and Eddie can't. So why wouldn't you maybe try Florian Ballerin or John Jules? But they've sent them both out on loan, and they've yet to still get a striker in this window. So
nothing.
Who knows what the hell's happening there? I did see as well Hwang Hee-chan from Leipzig is going to be going to Wolves on a permanent, but not till July, just like Insigne's deal with Toronto will not take place till July as well. So
I saw our good sorry, go ahead.
No.
What was I going to say?
You were saying something about somebody.
Oh, I saw that another U.S. prospect, Brian Reynolds, who recently moved from Dallas to Roma. Obviously, we know Jose Mourinho doesn't like to play the young kids, so he's on the move, on loan to KV Kortrijk.
Ooh.
Kortrijk.
That sounds like a Dan team. Oh, that's a 8th in the Belgian First Division. Okay.
Oh, he's moving to Belgium. Okay. That's usually a good spot for a young kid to move to because you're going to play.
Yeah, it looked really Russian or something, that name, and I was like, where's he heading out to?
I was going to say, you usually like when guys move to teams that you're somewhat familiar with. like in Belgium, like your Genks and Ghent. Obviously Anderlecht is probably the most famous Belgium club, or Bruges of some sort. But that was a new one.
Yeah,
that stumped me.
They're sitting 8th, so they can't be that awful. They're mid-table. I don't know how far along they are into their season. Yeah. I saw your boy Przbilko left to the Fire, huh?
Yeah, there's some rumblings,
some
around
allocation money.
The union right now that we're about to pick up Mikel Yuri, guy from Brøndby, in the Swiss league, I believe. Nice, apparently he's got like 30 goals this year or last year, so we'll see. I don't know. We're just we're signing. We got another homegrown deal done today. Anton Sorensen from the second team and the academy moves up to the senior squad. So congrats to Anton. He's been looked at a lot and won, I believe, Academy Player of the Year with the Philadelphia Union last year. So good to see him. That pretty much means that our left back, Kai Wagner, is probably on the move to Europe somewhere. I know he was getting interest from Germany. He got interest last year, I believe, from West Ham as well. So he'll probably be looked at, and we'll get a pretty penny. Also, if Brendan Aronson gets sold to Leeds, like apparently is the rumors, I guess Salzburg turned down Leeds' first offer of like 15, and they bumped it to 18. And apparently there's an agreement of the price. It's just obviously, dotting your I's, crossing T's, and making sure personal terms. But it looks right now, not sure if it'll get done in the January window, but it looks like Brendan Aronson possible move in over the summer to Leeds.
That would be awesome.
And we get some sell-on money for that.
That would be nice to just see him come to the Prem. I mean, obviously we'd all like to see him on our clubs, but just to see him make it over there, and how his trajectory has just taken off, and the type of player he's become, that would be really cool to see him make it anywhere, basically, into the Prem.
I mean, I don't want to see him anywhere near Chelsea because he would not play, because apparently we just loan out like everybody, and we're seeing an emergence of Conor Gallagher over the last 2 years. Does he fit into a future Chelsea side? Past history would say probably not. Armando Broja, who's been killing it at Southampton, Chelsea loanee. Do you think he fits into the Chelsea team next year? History would say probably not.
Grow him and sell them.
They don't rate the youngsters. Look at Tammy Abraham. We talked about this off air.
Yeah.
Soonest thing in Roma.
Yeah, just thriving under Jose right now.
So, I don't know. That's a topic for another day. But,
yeah.
The last one I did see, Justin Che, another young U.S. prospect, part of that great Dallas FC or FC Dallas pipeline, is going on loan to Hoffenheim.
Okay.
Just to probably work and see what life is like, actually at a legit European club, how they do things, training with, obviously Chris Richards is a big factor into that as well. So it'll be a good experience for him to get over there. I'm sure he'll get some, academy games under his belt, and hopefully they can make it a permanent move, and that's just another youngster, hopefully in the next World Cup in 2026, can be part of that discussion once we get to that point. But right now he's only 18, so there's a lot of time on that.
And I guess just notable for any of the Red Bull brethren that might be watching, we all know that this has been one of those quiet transfer windows again, Adam. And, it was about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and I expressed my anger and how, I really wanted them to start spending a little bit and investing in this team, not just to be, this feeder club for their clubs in Europe, but also be competitive. And now with New York winning, the league before Red Bull has ever won the league, it really has sparked the fan base. I can tell you there's a lot of people that are super unhappy right now and are making claims of, not renewing season tickets and this, that, and the other thing. I want everybody to try to be patient. I'm trying to be as well. I'm looking at the roster. I don't think it's that bad. We had some injuries last year. I'm really satisfied in the job that the coach has done since coming in. He really pushed that team into the playoffs. They had no business even being a playoff team this year, to be honest with you. So the fact that they made that late run and they had success late is good. They did add a young, looks like from the Venezuelan Premier League midfielder, which they're going to need some help in the midfield. His name's Jesus Castellano. So look for him maybe with Caden Clark, I know, is heading out.
He's done.
To the next big stage. He's kind of following the same move that Aronson followed. I think it's good for him. Caden Clark's another one everybody should be watching on the U.S. stage. I think he'll start getting caps once we get through this, World Cup. He's not gonna make it into these rotations anymore, but he'll get into that next one, I think, after this is all said and done and this World Cup is handled. And they did send out Jake LaCava to the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Nice. Get some action USL Pro.
Yeah, Jake gets to go live in Tampa and
sunny Tampa.
Absolutely, and have some fun playing for the Rowdies. I mean, if you're not going to be getting time, up at the bigger stage, that seems like a good place to be sent off to on a loan and play some soccer and have some fun.
Thrive there.
So I was just down in the Florida area for New Year's, and I'd really like to get back there. It was nice on New Year's Eve sitting in a pool at 85-degree weather.
It doesn't get much better than that, man.
Yeah, I'm not a cold weather guy anymore. Just can't. I'm over it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on the transfer news. Like you said, it's a couple days left. We got to the 31st. So anything could pop, or there could be absolutely nothing in the next 5 days. That's how this always seems to go. There's going to be a lot of BS, though, I can tell you that. You'll hear this and you'll hear that. And
there's been BS all just seeing it right now. They're talking about Adama Traore, Barcelona.
Oh, the Barca, yeah.
Buy, people that they can't afford.
Yeah, and Lingard's unhappy. He wants out of United, and
good.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. It's not working. He thrived at West Ham last year.
Yeah, he was doing great, and shame on United. They're struggling, and they had a guy who's playing well, and they don't play him. So
I don't know what it is. It's like the man does so much better away from United that he should just not go back. I don't care if, whatever the hell, Dum who used to coach the team, said, hey, you're definitely in our plans for this year, and then not play him at all. So I don't know what it is.
If you can find a money line on it right now, you better go bet on Paul Arriola starting tomorrow, because just announced basically, which a couple hours ago, which I didn't even see either, he is going to Dallas from DC on a $2 million or a record deal of $2 million of general allocation money. So with that big news for Paul Arriola and Greg, he's starting tomorrow. He's going to
reward him
absolutely
for a start. Good job. Way to move from DC that's like to Dallas for that much.
Yeah, I guguess they need a goal scorer now that Pepe is out. So I guess the falls on Paul's shoulders.
I guess now that he's a little healthy and he's it seems to be that injury's behind him, but
DC will receive 1 point.
Go for it.
DC gets 1.5 mil this year and 500,000 next year, plus up to another 300,000 in conditional money.
mean,
they'll
DC's
receive
got
and in the end they receive 30% of any transfer fee if he moves outside of the MLS. So I think they're safe on not getting that money, to be honest with you, unless he goes to I don't know, Belgium, like we talked about, or
who knows?
you don't know, but he's little.
I don't know. He's a little.
He's not
older.
old. He's not old.
Is he 29 now?
We act like he's
kind of old for soccer.
He's not even 29, dude. He's 26. He just seems.
Oh wow, I thought he was older than that.
Yeah, I know. So did I. I thought he was
about 28. That's
about
why I was like, why are they paying $2 million for a 29-year-old guy that's just been a journeyman?
He's only 26. He's not much of a guy, and he's 5'6", 146 pounds on record. So he's a little smaller than that. But he's tough. He's tough. You'll see him tomorrow night. I promise.
Now he's definitely starting.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. Good call.
Yes, book it.
Lord Walker, what's up, buddy? The real story is all the free transfers coming up and possibility of Louis joining the Prem and hopefully rejoining Mr. Jurgen Klopp. You think so? I don't know.
Arsenal need a striker, but it just would never happen. I'm not that lucky. I'm just not that lucky that he would ever come to Arsenal. It's just
no. He's probably got a very few teams he would go to in the Prem.
Yeah.
I would say, what are you doing? Who are you selling off? Bobby Blue Eyes is out? If Louis comes?
Yeah. It's going to have to be, I guess, right?
All four of those guys.
Because Jota needs even more time now. One of the other guys is going to have to go soon.
Yeah, Jota keeps doing his thing.
I know we have this conversation all the time, and he'll get all upset. We're not going to have enough time to talk about it, but it's going to have to happen at some point.
Sure.
If you want a guy like him to come in, then somebody's got to go out, and that sacrifice is going to have to be a Sane, a Salah, or a Bobby, because it's not going to be Jota, I don't think, unless you sell high on Jota and you keep the other guys and you get a whole lot of money for Jota, because right now his stock could not be any higher. So you could play it that way as well. If you're not...
Bobby okay with platooning? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
If the money calls.
And then what about Minamino? I thought Minamino was the future of the striker position at the club. So
Taki.
That just buries him even deeper in there if you're just keep adding.
I kind of want Louis to go to the Prem, though, because then it'll shut up the people that keep saying, well, he was on Bayern and it's the league that he got so many goals.
I know. I just don't want him to go to the wrong team and have
I think he would make he would do great, I think, on any team, honestly.
I think so. I think that's just the kind of player he is, but I don't know. I don't put it this way. I selfishly don't want him to go to a team that I have no business rooting at all for.
Yeah.
I don't want. He can't go to Tottenham.
Went to Liverpool and joined up with his old pal Jurgen.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
For the rest of the league, no, it wouldn't be good. But as a Dortmund supporter, you kind of like to see those little rehashing of a nice friendship.
You and I were talking about jerseys and stuff too, and not getting names anymore on jerseys. But I Lev still when I get the Bayern jersey that I'm going to settle on. I was going to get the black and gold one, but they were out of my size because I really like that one. I will get a Lev jersey just because,
dude, that they can sell off because that Jamal Musiala kid on Bayern is
dude,
going to be an absolute beast.
Bayern's really deep, and it's nice to
it's unreal.
When you go through the angst that I go through as an Arsenal supporter, it's nice to have that Bayern in my back pocket to go back and be like, that's actually my oldest team that I've rooted for. More of my life than any other team, I would say, would be Bayern. And they weren't always good, they had their moments. I implore people, if you get a chance, you want to see it, it's not easy to watch if you're not a big fan, but just spend 10 minutes watching it. Even if you fast forward through it, there's it's on Hulu or one of them. It is Hulu or ESPN Plus because they're tied in with each other. But it's like super old footage of Bundesliga games from like the late 70s and early 80s. And it's just really interesting, especially you and I and others that have done some of the work on the television broadcasting, to see how games used to be broadcast. I mean, I remember even all sports growing up, how different the broadcasts were. And yeah, I mean, you didn't have a score bug on the screen. You didn't have a clock on the screen. The screen was just blank and
just
dull and hard to see.
Attention.
Yeah, you had one camera angle. That was it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they had replay, but it was so poor, and there was one camera angle for a soccer game. I mean, I remember watching even American football games with one or two camera angles, and just to see the evolution of it, it's pretty interesting. It's fun to watch.
Absolutely. Obviously, I guess we should hit on some Prem news before we scoot. Unfortunately, it was your Reds Gunners did not end up on the right side of that game. Hate to bring it up, but
we do need to talk about
last week, and it was just the banter, and it was me just sitting back and letting you two guys go at it, and then just seeing the result was brutal stuff from Arsenal. But Lord Walker said that's he felt his Reds had that hand up on you, so
it could. I guess at the end of the day, you could say it could be worse. 2-0 is an improvement over 4-0. But yeah, I mean, you can't let Jota just handle you like that. The first goal, Aaron Ramsdale caught flat-footed. That's a goal. It looks like every time you watch it, it's like a joke. It's like you look at it like it was like a video game. Like that, like it was like a glitch in my video game, and my goalie glitched out and bent the wrong way, and it was too late, and this ball that should have never went in. And then the second one, I mean, by the letter of the law, I guess he was on sides, especially when you have a Liverpool badge on your kit. So that always helps to get the call your way, especially when you're playing Arsenal. It's always going to lean back the other way. But he was on. It was a good play, good ball. They lost that game. And then what was more disappointing was Sunday's action and playing a team like Burnley and trying to get on the right side of things before this break, and an opportunity to go into fourth place before the break, and to sit there and draw 0-0 against just a bad Burnley team. And then they turned up the heat in the last 15 minutes, but it was too little too late. Too many opportunities missed. Like I said, Lacazette, his goal scoring, if you look at the games played compared to goals, he's just, for a guy that's only supposed to score goals, he doesn't score goals. It's clear where the biggest hole in Arsenal is right now, and that's at the striker position. They need a finisher. They need a killer, somebody that's going to put the ball in the net time after time, because the work is there between Saka and Martinelli and Tierney and the midfield coming along. Thomas.
You need somebody up top. You need that, again, you need a little young blood in there, right?
Yeah, Thomas comes in, in that other game, he flies in from Ghana and gets sent off quickly. First yellow was questionable. The second yellow was bad. It was definitely a yellow.
Wires got crossed. He was excited to be back in London.
I think he was like, I don't even know what you could be thinking when you had the day like he had, but
brutal. But yeah. It's tough. I hate to bring it up, but I just thought it was.
It's okay. I get it. We have to talk about it.
Lord Walker, I saw him on. I had to do it.
Yeah, no, it needed to be discussed. It needed to be discussed. You got to take your lumps. I mean, I got to support my squad. Next time they play, I'm going to support them as well. I know the tie coming up in February was postponed, so I don't know when the next time we actually play is. But we got to keep growing from there. Our biggest thing is now we have to have a target again, and I hate to just say European football, because it really should be it should be top 4. It shouldn't even be excusable. We got to get back in Champions League. But at this point, again, now with the way things are going, I just got to get back in Europe. Period.
I mean, you needed to get some momentum, like you said, and to draw, not even score a goal against a bad Burnley team. That's tough.
Yeah, it's one thing to draw in like a 3-3 draw where you're scoring and you're just, letting up some bad goals and it's one of those crappy draws. But to to draw 0-0 to a team like that is just, it is. It is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and Liverpool keeps it going. Nice win at Palace. Brighton continues to be our draw kings this year, just continuing to get 1 point. And again, Graham Potter, they're going to do just enough.
Yeah. Even Danny Welbeck Danny Welbeck scores again for Brighton. I'd take Danny Welbeck back at this point. Put him at the striker position. We need somebody that's going to put the ball in the net. He scores every third week. I see a Danny Welbeck goal for Brighton.
He gets there, and it's also been pretty brutal for Leicester. Tough week.
Yeah, man.
You give the 2 late goals to Spurs, and you lose, and then you draw Brighton at home. It's just
it's a struggle.
Not to say that Brendan Rodgers is any in turmoil or on a hot seat, but I mean, Leicester just, I don't know. They did win an FA Cup recently, but they just lack that bite right now. And I know Jamie Vardy's out and he's hurt, but
yeah. If I'm him and his name keeps getting thrown around all the time in rumors, I might be now. We talked at one point it would be stupid for him to exit, but yeah, I mean, even Rodgers, if another job comes calling, now that Leicester job doesn't seem quite as enticing as it might have, 2 years ago. But
right.
Your boys did their job. Thank you. That's at least one bright spot to the weekend.
Speaking of just having a team in your back pocket, just owning from the last couple weeks, just continued domination of Spurs, which is I would expect at this point.
Yeah. And what else? Everton kept struggling. They lose to Villa. Villa's under Stevie. Still the manager bump still happening. They're playing a little bit better brand under him.
You love to see it. I called that. They've been playing, and I know Everton's been struggling, but they just look like a different squad. I don't know. They have a good team. I mean, they pretty much have the same squad as they did last year, minus obviously, it's a huge key, Jack Grealish being gone, but
yeah,
I don't know. Brentford continues just to.
They're on a downward slide right now, definitely.
Yeah, just running into a Wolves squad that has been playing good ball recently.
Yeah, a couple of veterans in Moutinho and Neves get some goals for them.
Again, talk about on the downslope. Leeds,
struggling Leeds. They lose to Newcastle. I mean, that's a shame in itself.
At home, too. You hate to see it.
Yeah. United squeak by West Ham with a late Rashford goal. Again, half the teams would have been called offsides. Half the teams wouldn't have been called offsides because VAR is the most inconsistent thing ever. It was hard to tell. It was one of those close ones. They gave it to him. Goal, set, match.
Yeah, West Ham's annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Them on the road is like dog shit compared to home.
Yeah. And City doesn't show up, or Southampton does show up. They drew City 1-1. Yeah. Not a bad game. 1-1 draw. Keeps everybody alive, at least for now, in the table. So I told everybody be wary of clinching City yet. There are some teams that could still make some noise, but they're still in the driver's seat, I would say. And then we missed on Friday, I guess, Norwich. Josh Sargent, 2 goals.
Yeah, didn't really mention that, but finally, it's been a tough start for him at Norwich, but it's good to see him, get a massive win for the Canaries, getting them out of relegation. So I don't know. They can somehow string together, Dean Smith at the helm now. It's like, all right, maybe they can get a little bit of momentum going. And again, there's so many bad teams, when Burnley has 1 win, a win like that can go a long way for you.
That got Norwich actually out of relegation.
Yeah.
Going into this break again, the every team behind them has at least one game in hand, minimum, up to 4 between Burnley and Norwich, which is absurd that Burnley's only played 18 games. And it kills me.
A lot of games to catch up, but
it kills me even more that Arsenal drew them this past week. So, but yeah, right now your bottom 3 is Burnley with 12, Watford with 14, and Newcastle with 15. So I know with their new takeover and things, I would expect Newcastle to make a Newcastle climb and finish 14th or 15th this year probably. So that means one of these other teams is probably going to drop down, and that still could be Norwich, Everton, Leeds, Brentford, Palace. It's probably – and Southampton. Everybody else is probably safe. Villa and above, 11 and above is probably, you would think, probably safe based off of their performance and the points they've accumulated already.
True that. Looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, we got what? In general, 20 – anybody's got between 20 and 15 games left to play a 38-game season.
Again, there's time, but –
yeah, it's just right now they got to catch everybody up. I mean, Chelsea's played the most games. They have 24 games played. Nobody else has played 24 games in the league, and Burnley's only played 18. They're the minimum. So that's a 6-game window between the least amount and the most amount. They gotta get that all caught up and reorganized here.
I don't even know. I mean, is the title race over? I would say it's close. It would take a momentous collapse from City to have the title race be anywhere near competitive going forward, I would say. But
yeah,
I think Chelsea's in a fine. Chelsea's not losing. I'm not worried about that. They lost once, obviously, to City, but beat Spurs, drew Brighton, lost to City, beat Spurs, beat Chesterfield, beat Spurs, drew Liverpool, drew Brighton, beat Villa, beat Brentford. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say right now,
Not
City, Liverpool, and Chelsea all have an
worse.
opportunity. They all have a chance to win the title. All three of you guys have a chance to win the title. And then everybody's got to be watching United, West Ham, Arsenal, Spurs.
It's City's to lose.
Yeah, for 4th. Oh, it's definitely City's to lose, but yeah, Chelsea's 10 points back and Liverpool's 9 back.
The only thing would be different is that Liverpool has that game in hand over City and then 2 games in hand over Chelsea.
Yeah. Liverpool's definitely still in the best position if anybody's probably going to challenge for the title at this point.
I mean, Chelsea has too many drop points. I know. Yeah. I think that's what Lord Walker's point is by
again, I mean, you can say that, but at the same time, you got to watch your own locker room, like I said, because you have 8 draws. Liverpool's not far behind you with 6. They only have one more win than you. You have 14-13. So it's like, 2 losses to 3 losses. There's not a big discrepancy there between the 2 clubs right now. So, it's you don't want to point fingers at drop points, but a lot of teams have been, unfortunately, dropping points that they shouldn't have.
Way too many, but that's, recency bias. Yeah, they've been drawing a lot recently. I get it, but
yeah,
I just gave you 1 loss in the last couple months, so
yeah,
not worried.
I wouldn't be.
Focusing on other things.
I'm a little worried.
Focus on that damn League Cup out to beat your ass in.
Yeah, we're tied with Spurs, and they have a game in hand on us. So I'm more worried that.
I mean, again, it's the top 3 are pretty much have distanced themselves. Again, United's got 2 games in hand over Chelsea, sitting in 4th. But I mean, West Ham's not going to finish top 4.
But they're 10 points behind or 9 points behind Chelsea. So
I would say Arsenal and Spurs are going to battle it out for maybe Europa League. Again, if United, I don't know.
What I'm saying.
I'm not confident United is going to somehow string off a bunch of wins.
And then you never know with West Ham. Like you said, they're a completely different team home and away. That's why it's frustrating as an Arsenal fan right now, because that opportunity is there. If you beat Burnley like you were supposed to, you're in fourth at this. We're having this conversation.
Right.
They're in control in fourth place, with United then right behind them, West Ham and Spurs. But they didn't. So now they have to sit in sixth with Spurs knocking on their door and work to do to jump United and United.
Right.
So, yeah.
But again, there's a lot of game to play.
Yeah.
You're
and
right.
The Wolves are coming. The Wolves are, they've woken back up.
Yeah.
They're sitting in eighth now with 34 points. They're only 2 points behind Spurs. So it's going to be
there's a lot of season to shake out. Again, the title's not over with, but again, I think Liverpool has the best chance to catch them if possible. But yeah, you got to hope, like Eric said, you got to hope City draw, 2-3 games, at least 2, and you got to keep winning.
Yeah.
So, again, at this point, anybody chasing City just has to worry about their own results and not really worry too much about what's going on elsewhere.
So anything else before we jump on out of here?
Not that I can think of. I think we hit all the transfers, Prem, African Cup of Nations, U.S. men's national team. Obviously, will be another big talking point next week as well. Again, hopefully talking about 2 wins for from the boys in the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, before the next time we talk.
And we'll be setting up that game on next Wednesday against Honduras. Hopefully looking to close out a strong January window. And, hopefully that we're sitting pretty in first, hopefully. Second at worst. But, yeah, you got to go into, before we get out of here, it's just you got to go into these January windows as not a must win, but with so many teams bunched up at the top 4, you get one bad loss or a bad draw, like against El Salvador or Honduras, you could wind up in fourth after this January window.
Yeah, let's not have that happen. Let's get out of this window in first place, in control, needing just like 1 out of the last 4 to at least qualify without any play-in games or any of that shit.
And let's take it to the boys up north.
Yes, and
let's
Dan,
keep them our little brothers, for God's sakes, and not have them beat us, and that'll never end.
Yeah, we already tied them at home, so we got to go up there now and beat them. So
yeah, we got to take care of business.
And I do have a red card, just to throw one out before we head off, and that's at good old Mr. FIFA himself, Infantino, and his idiotic statements. I don't know why the guy even speaks anymore. All these idiots up top of FIFA and corruption and all of that, and he's trying to sell this biennial World Cup and saying how he came out and said it basically would save lives and help with. And I'm like, dude,
what he's only worried about?
His pockets. Exactly. He's not worried about these migrants getting jobs, and he's not worried about any of it. He's worried about lining his pockets, and he's a scumbag.
He's a goddamn crook and a scumbag. Exactly.
Yeah. So he gets my red card, as he always gets my red card, but he had to put himself back in the news again by opening his stupid mouth. So that's it.
That's a pretty good one. I would have probably said the same thing. I forgot he was named. I don't even like any time his name is spoken about, because he's a crook. Yeah. Goddamn crook.
They all are. The one he replaced was a crook. He's a crook. They're all just whatever.
But what else is new, You got money. Money talks. But
yeah.
All right, everybody. We appreciate it again, as always, tuning in. I know it's a lot to cover in an hour and a half, but hey, we got international break finally after 2 months. Again, tomorrow night, U.S. men's national team, home, Columbus, Ohio, 7 o'clock, ESPN2. That's where everyone needs to tune in. Again, thank you, Eric, Lord Walker, joining us today. We got David checking in, Greg, Daly, of course, and Jeff. I saw you said Houday, good for the Bengals. Yeah, let's go USA. Absolutely. So yes, again, we'll see you guys next Wednesday, 4:30 right here, A2D Radio. Again, please like, subscribe every show on this platform. There's so many. Obviously, we got, NFL playoffs rolling along. We got Championship Sunday next week coming up. NBA's in full swing. Hockey, don't want to mention that, but
I do.
Yeah,
you
do. I don't. I hate myself. Breaking records for wrong reasons, but yes. Again, thank you guys. We love you.
Love you guys.
We'll see you next week.
Later.